Hello guys, welcome to Go Do Micro Projects. Now we're going to develop this complementary card using JSON API with React Hooks and Redux. If you want to type along with me, kindly install the following: npm install Redux, 2 npm install React Redux, 3 npm install Redux DevTools extension, lastly npm install Axios. That is that, guys. With all said and done, let's begin. Thank you very much. Let's begin by creating 3 folders in our SRC folder. So we say, call the first one assets. Create another folder and call it components. Sorry, ENT components. Then create another folder and call it Redux. Okay, so let's take the first one, assets. Now over here we need our images and spinners. So we create a folder and let's call it images. So inside that, let's go to Google and get our logo image. So go to Google, we say logo image, go to images, and when you go to images, not this one, there's another one down there. Yeah, this one. So you download this one to your desktop. So that is that with the image. So I go to my desktop, I download it, I copy it, I take it to the folder using the backdoor, my app, then I go to SRC, assets, images, and I paste it here. Good. So our image is ready. Good. So now next is to go to components. Okay. Now with the components, what do? Let's create a folder and call it complement. Good. Now inside the complement folder, let's create a complement file which we call complement app.js. Good. So that is that with our boilerplate. Okay, instead of ordinary div, why don't we make it React fragment? So we say React.fragment. So inside that we can say h1 tag hello. And let's link that to the app.js to view on the screen. So we say complement app. Okay, let's import that. Import complement app. Good, it has been imported for us. So let's check our screen now. Good, we have hello on the screen, so it means we are ready to go. Now before we begin, let's look at our setup for the application. Now I want us to have a card, a big card, and inside that we can have our card header. Then we're going to display the header over here. Then after that we have a smaller cards, okay, something like this. Okay, smaller cards, all the same sizes. Okay, something like this. Good. So that is that. Don't mind this one, it's smaller, it's the same size. Okay, don't mind this one. Now what we're going to do is with the page setter, we're going to make it 282. We're going to make the first one 2. Okay, then we can make the last one also 2. so we can have access to the middle region to work in. So we have 2, 8, 2 together making 12. So that is that with the page setup. So we can begin now. We go back to our complement. Then we say we create a div and give it a class name and call it row. Now inside the row, what do we need? We need to create another div, then give it a class name. Inside that we call it call md2. Okay, we copy that. Then the second we're going to make it call md8, so we can work in the 8. So to begin with, let's create a card. So we say create a div and give it a class name and call it card. Now inside a card, what do we need? We need a header and a body. So let's take the first one. We say card, create a div, give it a class name. Last name equals what? Card header. We can cover this. Now make the second one card body. So let's take them one after the other. The header. With the header, what do we need? Let's take an h5 tag. Then inside that we can say complementary card app with JSON API. Okay, you can check that out. Great. Now let's make it bold, give some margin top, center it. So to do that, we say over here, let's give it some margin top. You can say empty 3. Okay, then give it the center. Then we can make it bold. So we say last name equals font weight bold. Let's check that out. Great. So the next thing to work on is the body. But before we go to the body, let's give the background color and of the header. So let's do that. Let's go to the CSS. So we say card header. Let's give it a background color of 1D291F. Then with this color, so white smoke. So let's check that out. Great. So next is the body. Now with the body, let's go back to the complement app. Now with the body, let me bring it down a little. With the body, let's give it a card container for all the cards. Okay, let's create a container for all the cards. So we can say div, give it a class name and call it card container. Okay, now inside the card container, what do we need? Just copy that. Inside the card container, what do we need? We need a div. I will call the right side, the left side first. Okay, the left side and the right side. Okay, so just copy this to and say on the right side. Sorry, right side. So inside the whole container, we're going to have the left side and the right side. So now the container, let's give it width and height. So the card container, let's go to our CSS and say card container. Let's give it the width 250 pixels, height GHT 150 pixels, and let's give it a background color red. Now let's check that out. Great, we have it here. Now let's give it a border radius. So we say border radius 10 pixels. 10 pixels. Good. Now we don't need this, so what we're gonna do is let's give it a box shadow. Box shadow. This is 15 pixels, 60 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0, and 0.3. Okay, that's the box shadow. Okay, so we don't need the red. I can just comment it. Let's see. Great. So now let's give it a linear gradient. So we say background linear gradient. And let's have it 100 degrees, comma, white, and let's give it 40%, and comma, then we give it black. Let's make the rest of it black. So next we look at the each side. So next let's look at each side. Let's look at the white side. Now we look at the black side. Now the white side, which is we call in the left side, so left and right. Okay, so the left side, we need to import our image. Okay, so let's do that. Go to our complement.js. The left side, we need our image. So we'll say img src equals, let's call it logo image. Okay, then we say alt and call it logo image. Let's give it the width equals, let's give it 30 pixels. Okay, so there is that. Let's import our image. So I can say import logo image from where? No. Yes. So from assets, then from images, then from what? Logo.png. So let's check that out. Great, we have our image. So the next thing to do is to bring our image here. So to do that, we need to display, go to our CSS and display the card container. We display any content inside, we need to display flex. Okay, so we'll say over here, we can say display flex. Let's check that out. You see it has come here. So now we need to center it over here. So we need to, let's create a centered, this thing called centered. That will center everything we want to center, and as we move along. So we say display flex, then justify content center, then align items center. That is that. So this centered, we can just go to the left side and just say centered. Good. Check that out. See, centered. Good. Now we create the center and go to left side, and we say left side. So left side, and we say give it a width of 40%. Yeah, so you can check that out. See, it's in the center now. So now what we need to do now is to go to the right column. Okay, so now let's work for the right. So with the right, we go there. So with the right, I can just copy this right. Good. Good. Now with the right, let's create a container for the right content. So we say right content. Okay. Right content. Then inside that we can create another div. Then we call that one. We need a font awesome. Then we create another one too. Create another one and call it content. So inside the right content, we have the right side, we have the right content, which is going to be a container for the font awesome and the content. So we take the first one, the font awesome. Now the font awesome, let's give it one. We say give it a class name equals what, fa user. Then give it a content. We can say p with a p tag, and then we just say good do projects. Okay, let's check that out. You can see it. Let's make the font, let's change the color of the font. Okay, so we can go to CSS, then we call the right side. So we say right side, let's give it a width of 60%. Then we can give it our color now. Color, we can say white smoke. Let's check that out. Great. So continue. We can say let's display flex. So we say display flex, then we say justify, that's why content center. Then the last one we can say flex direction, make it column, direction column. Then we can say align items, let's make it flex start. Good. Let's check that out again. Yeah. Now what we need to do next is to bring the font awesome. We make it flex so that it can come before the good projects, be aligned with the good projects. So to do that, go to the right content. As you can see, so we can see the right content. So we're going to display flex here. So over here, then it's going to change. So let's go to right content. I'll go to my CSS again. Now I say, but right content. So we can now say display flex. See that? So cool. And let's give it some font size. So font size 10 pixels. Okay. Make it smaller. Yeah, good. So next we can work on our font awesome. So we say font awesome. Awesome. Then let's check that out if I'm writing the correct thing. Font awesome. Good. Tag. So let's do that too. Come on. Good. Let's give it the width. Width 15 pixels. And height 15 pixels. Border. Let's give 1 pixels. Solid. And white smoke. Give it a border radius. 50 pixels. 50%, yeah. Not pixels, percent. Then what again? Then give it a background color. Let's give it hash. Use 72 E1. So I just copy that and make the border to the same color. It's good. Let's check that out. Great. And we need to center it. So to do that, we've created a centered one CSS already. So I just go, you see here, so I just go and add it to it. So I just go to the over here and say centered. Let's check that out. Great. That's also centered. Let's give some margin. So CSS, where are you? So we can say some margin right. Margin right 10 pixels. Let's check that out. Good. So you can see. So now I can copy this 3 times. Let's do that. So we copy from the right content. Okay. The right contents over here. Copy this. Then we change the font also and make it FA phone. And the next one, good. Next one, make it FA envelope. Envelope. EN also. Envelope. Good. Let's check that out. Great. So that is that for the setup. So next we need to go to Redux, then fetch the API. So let's go. We can close our CSS, we don't need it. App.js, close everything and go to Redux folder. So in our Redux folder, let's create another file. Let's create a file there and call it store.js. Same Redux folder, let's create another file and call it reducer.js. Now in the same Redux folder again, this time let's create a folder and call it complement Redux. Okay, good. In the complement Redux folder, and create a file and call it complement.action types.js. Create the same complement Redux folder again, create another file and call it actions.js. Go to the same complement Redux folder again, create another file and call it complement.reducer.js. Great. That is that. Let's take the first one. The action types, complement.action types. Now over here, it's all about the types of action that we need to load the data, the API. Yeah, load the API. So we say load. So let's call the first one export const load data request equals the same thing, load data request. I can just copy all 3 times and I just change the names. The second one is going to be load data success. Okay. And next one, failure. Good. So that is that with the action types. The next thing to go is to dot actions. Yeah. So dot actions. The first thing to do at dot actions is to what? Import the action types. So we say import all the action types. So we say load caps load data failure, comma load data success, comma load load data request. So that like this, okay. So it has been imported nicely. Let me break it down so you can see it. Good, this way. So that is that. Next, we need to import. Oh, sorry. Yeah, nothing happened there. We need to import. Sorry. Let's import Axios from Axios. Good. So Axios is also ready. Then next, we can say export const. Let's call it load data. Okay. Load data equals a function. Good. I'll return. No. I'll return an async await to bracket. If it's another function, then inside that we can have our try and catch. And catch. So that is that. So let's take the first one, the try. Let's give you a dispatch. Then inside that, we can say that dispatch what? Dispatch a type called what? Load data request. Come on. No comma. That is it. Load data request. And it's over there. We need to fetch our URL. We select data URL be equal to. Now let's go to the data URL. Let's go to JSON. We'll create a new tab. We'll say Google. So we call JSON placeholder. Good. Now inside that, go to the first one, JSON placeholder. We scroll down, then we go to users. Good. So we copy the API. Come and paste it there nicely. Good. So API is ready. So we can say let response be equal to await Axios dot get data URL. Then we can dispatch what? Dispatch type what? Load data success. Load data success, comma payload response dot data. So that is that. Next one is our to catch the error if it fails. So we say catch error, then into bracket we need dispatch what? Dispatch a type. When there's error, should dispatch a type load data failure. Come on, payload error. So that is that. Now for the complement.action. So now next is the complement.reducer. 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 To begin with, we need to import the types again. So I can just copy and just go paste it. Yeah. Good. So that is that. Then from here we can say let's create a key in the store. So we can say sport, and break this down a little. Sport const, let's call it complement key equals complement store equals into bracket complement store. So from there we can now let initial state equal to let's give the data and with the value empty array. I got empty array. Come on. Then we say give it loading false. And come on. And I give error message with the value empty. So that is that. So we can go down and say export const again. Export const complete. Oh, sorry. Export const complement reducer equals to a function then inside that we can have our state be equal to initial state comma action, where we can further say that let type comma payload equal to actions, because the action contains the type and the payload. So we can have our switch statements now and say switch into bracket, we call the type case load data request column should return should return what? Should return the state back, and come on, then make loading true. Before it was false, so it makes it true. So that is that for the case load data request. Now let's create another case load data success. You can just copy that. So load data success. Load data success. What should happen? Give us the state back. Make loading false. Come on. Then data with a value payload. So that is that when the success. Let's talk about the last one. Failure. Load data failure. Now what should happen? Give us the state back and give our error message. Error message with the value payload. So that is that. So finally, we can our default state the value turn state. So that is that for our complement.reducer. So next is our root reducer. So we go to our root reducer. We import our comment reducer. So we say import complement reducer. Good. That will import it for us nicely. So next, what do? So next we import combine reducers from Redux. Good. Now next we can now say let's root reducer equal to combine reducers into bracket what? Let's call the complement key and give it a value complement reducer. Good. So now we need to import the complement key. Great, it has been imported for us already. So that is that. We can finally export our root reducer. Export the root reducer to where? To the store. So we go to the store and import our root reducer. So we say import root reducer from root reducer. Good. So next we need to import create store. Then create store, and apply middleware. From Redux. Then next we need to import compose with DevTools. Yeah, from Redux DevTools extension. Good. And lastly, import tank. Good. Import tank from Redux tank. Good. So we can now say that let middleware be equal to, let's call the tank. I'm sorry, let's make it it's an arrow. Okay. THU tank. Go. So we can now say that let store be equal to create store into bracket root reducer, comma, use a compose with DevTools into bracket what? Apply middleware into bracket. Let's call all the middleware. So middleware, that is. So that is that. So that any middleware we add in the future, there's no need to change anything, but we can just put comma here and add our middleware. So that is that with our store. Next is to export our store. Let me say export store. Now export the store to where? To the app.js. So we go to the app.js, then we import our store. So import store, import store from Redux store. So that is that. Then next we need to import another one. Next we need to import another one called provider. So we say import provider from where? From React Redux. Good. Now let's call the provider, wrap it around the component. So over here we can say provider. Inside that we can say store equals store cut it and wrap it like this. So that is that. Good. So now let's check our screen if there's any complaint. Good, no complaint. If there's no complaint, we can check our store. So I'll go to the store. Then we go to our state. Yeah, we can see our state also ready. Now what we need to do next is to link the store to the component. Okay, so let's see how to do that. We can close all this. We don't need them anymore. Everything. So let's go to our component. Redux to our component, the complement app. So the first thing to do is to import use selector and use dispatch from React Redux. So we say import use selector, comma, use dispatch from React Redux. Yeah, that's it. Good. So let's initialize the use this dispatch. We say let's dispatch be equal to use dispatch. Good. So let me comment it and say initialize this use dispatch. Yeah. Use dispatch. So that is that. So our dispatch is ready. So how do we dispatch it? We need use effect. So let's import use effect. Then we say use effect. Use effect. Good. Okay, so our use effect is ready. So let's say here we can now call it. We say use effect. Good. Use effect. Good. So bracket. Let's create a function. And function. Good. Then comma. It's an empty arrow. So our use effect is also ready. So inside the use effect, we can say dispatch what to bracket load data is in the, what do you call it, Redux dot actions here. Yeah, actions. Yeah, load data. We need to dispatch this, so I need to import it. So I go back to the, so I say import load data load data from Redux complement dot actions over here. See, so that is that. So our dispatch is ready. It means let's check the screen to see if there's any complaint. Okay, we have an issue. It says line 15 complement dot actions. Let's go to line 15. Complement dot actions. So let's go to line 15. Line 15 dispatch type load data failure payload error 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 catch error. No, okay. Look at line 14 there. I didn't spell the error correctly. So that is that. So let's go back again. Great. We have no complaint. So let's check our store. Great. We got data. Guys, we got data. Good. So now what we need to do is view the data from the store. Okay. So let's check how to do that, to view the data on the screen, on the browser, not in the store, so I don't go back and forth. So how to do that? Let's go to view data. How to view the data? So we say here view data from store. Okay. So over here we can say let's view. Let's call it view complement. View complement equals to use selector to bracket, go to a function, where we're gonna have state that will return state and the complement key. Complement key. Yeah. You need to import a complement key from the React complement.reducer over here. Okay, the complement.reducer. So let's go and import it. So import complement key. Yeah, great. That's imported for us. Complement reducer. Yeah. So that is that. Now to check and test that out, we can use JSON.stringify. Okay. Can use JSON.stringify. So let's do that. So we can say over here, I can say, give it a pre-tag, and I say to bracket, let's call JSON. JSON. Oh, JSON dot stringify to bracket view complement. Well, that is that. Great. So that is that JSON dot stringify complement. So let's check our screen again. Complement key is not defined. Line 18, complement app. Line 18, I think there's a spelling mistake behind 18. Line 18. See, I told you. Complement, yeah, complement key. Okay, that is it. Let's check our screen again. You see, and we got data. We got data here. We got data. So now we need to just call our data. So how do we do that? Let's check that out. Now we go to the whole body. Where's the body? The card body. Now this card body, we need to write a JSX to take out the card body. So I'm going to copy from here. The card container. So I'm going to cut the card container. Goes up and up. Card container. Cut it. So you see this is the card body. We need a JSS. So we say over here we can say that view complement dot map. View complement dot data dot map to bracket. Let's call a function. Good. To bracket, let's give it, call this item. Good. Good. Item should return what? Good. Return a div with a key. Okay, let's create a div with a key. Inside that, let's have a key. The key we call it item.id. Okay. Let me check the data. You can see the ID. So we call it ID. We make this ID the key. So that is that. Inside the ID, we can now paste our card container. Good, like this. So container is in, so we need to change the content. We look at it this way. You can see this one. We make it item.name and item.email. Okay. So item.name. Let's make the first one item.name, item.phone. Let's check. Item.phone. Here we have phone here. Item.phone and item.email. So let's do that. To the first one, this is going to be okay. Item.name. So we say item.name. Close it. The second one, item.phone. We say item.phone. And last one, item.email. Item.email. Oh, no. Good, that is that. Now let's check that out again. Great. You can see, oh, we got data now. Now our data has been displayed. Now we need to use grid to display our cards nicely. So to do that, we go to CSS, go to our card body, so header, card header, let's say, right here, I can just put it here and say dot card body. Inside there we say display grid. Okay, then we say grid template columns give us repeat 3, 1 fraction. Then after that, give us a grid gap of what, 10 pixels. Okay, let's check that out. Great. So that is that. We need to take the pre-type JSON pre-type off. So we go to the complement again. Then we get pre-type here. Oh, sorry. Can just comment it. Good. Let's check it again. Yo, that is that, guys. Thank you so much for sticking through. Catch you in the next one. Don't forget to do good. See ya.